Welcome to Blinkers Off with your hosts, Jared Welch and Aaron Halterman.
Hello. What is up, everybody? I'm Jared Welch, and just get me. This is Blinkers Off, special edition, Preakness Live. Hope everyone's doing well. Listen, Halterman's over on VSiN doing his coverage there. So, per usual, per tradition here, just like I did for the Derby, I'm jumping on live here. We'll talk about the race. We'll talk about I hope everyone's had a good day. We've got real hot as of late, so hopefully everyone else is starting to catch fire a little bit. We're about 51 minutes to post. Again, if you have questions, comments, concerns, whatever, put them in the chat here. I'll try to address them as we go. 6 to 5 on journalism, fair price. I mean, I think that if you listen to Blinkers Off in the week, that's kind of where we expected or hoped he would be. I think he's playable at 6 to 5. 5 to 1 on Clever Again and Sandman, both at 5 to 1. I will say this: Clever or Sandman, and not really surprise, is getting the most play on the win side, not on the exotics. So Clever Again is 7 to 1 on Goal Oriented, 10 to 1 on American Promise. Heart of Honor, 17 to 1. Pay Billy, 13 to 1. Interesting that Pay Billy is lower odds than Heart of Honor. River Thames at 8 to 1, and Gosker still not getting much love on the board at 18 to 1. So we'll I have no idea, Mark. I have no idea what the Magic Mike pick 5 did. So what's up, Shotty? Lego. I don't follow what they're doing on there, so I know this, guys. I'm locked in for this race. Fort Washington was huge. Yes. You know how when you draw one up on paper, as far as how you structure your bets, and you say, I want to get to this race with XXX ready or whatever. It's happened. All right. So knock on wood. I past that, it's like, hey, we'll let the horses run here in the Preakness, see what happens. But if I could have set it up the way I wanted to get to this race, knowing that I have coverage on the horse that I really like, also have coverage in case he gets beat with the second horse I like, I mean, I'm there. So past that, they just got to run, and we'll see what happens. Probably have Gosker win or Sandman or something, but at the end of the day, I never was picking those horses anyway. So you're in a good spot. You know how it is when you get that spot, and we'll just let the horses run. So I don't know, Sean. We'll see. I just started drinking, so I've had my kids today. My kids are now with my parents, and so I haven't been able to. I was a few in when we went live, or when I went live, 2 weeks ago, I should say. So we'll see if I can get there. Hey, you know what? If I do well, we might get there. There's always that chance. Recap. It's good for JK. Good. I'm live. Hopefully, I got the pick 3. I started to pick 3. I played it. I pressed it. If you follow in the Bible, you're doing well. I've got a double and started up in the last race as well. That's live. Press that one going into this race. So I've got coverage here. Obviously, if you follow in the betting Bible, or I can just tell you, obviously I like Clever Again on top here. I've got Clever Again over journalism, but I also have coverage if journalism wins, which, let's be honest, he should. He, on paper, all things being equal, he's probably the best horse in the race. You got the 2 week, the 2 week layoff. Is he going to be just a tad bit short here? We'll see. I like those 2 horses. I like journalism. I like Clever Again. If anyone else beats me, that's fine. I can go with it. Yeah, it's been a recap the trifecta, Dilly, on what? Are you talking about the Derby, or what are we talking about? I feel like I need music. No copyright issues here, but I feel like I need some sort of, in my house, get the NBC coverage going. How's everybody's days going? Mine, I'll tell you this. It started off very poorly. Not really poorly, just results that you just can't come up with. The feel like the turf is finally starting to play normal, or was starting to play normal. But early in the day, man, it was like, I mean, I did have hitting one exacta that was nice earlier with Booth. He's a beast. But it's been one of those days. But it's getting better now. How's everybody's days? What is everybody live to in the Preakness? What do you need here? What do you need in this race? There you go, Brett. That's right. Hopefully we continue. Hopefully we can finish her off here. Yeah, I mean, listen, there's no, I feel like we've laid out on countless shows at this point, but there's really no, the only reason that journalism loses here is that he isn't quite, top tier after 2 weeks off. We know the stat, three of like the last 44 times a Derby runner-up has ran, only 3 wins, right? So it's not happened very often. It's kind of one of those weird. The way I describe that is, and again, just my logic, who knows, right? But is if they weren't quite good enough to win the Derby, like they were a little short or whatever, then it's hard to say, well, in 2 weeks they're going to come back. Now, other times it's like, hey, troubled trip, they ran 4th, they ran 5th, they ran 7th or whatever, like had an issue in the Derby, come back to Preakness. That's a different story. So I don't know, like it's a weird trend, but it's kind of a pretty solid trend too. So we'll see. Scott, I mean, I personally don't like him at all, but it's Bob Baffert, and if you certainly could do worse. I mean, he's won this race a record amount of times. My issue with goal oriented, it's not one of his typical Preakness horses. He's won the race 8 times, which is a record, and I believe 5 of them. I did a post on it on the site. I think 5 of them won the Derby. So there's that aspect as well. And so it's just not one of those races that, that you see typically, or it's one of those horses that you see Baffert bring into the Preakness. The only horse that didn't even run in the Derby was National Treasure, whatever year that was. So he was the only horse that Bob Baffert brought in that did not run in the Derby that he won within the Preakness. So he tried it last year with Imagination. Even Imagination has more seasoning than this horse. So, it could happen. Again, like if he wins here in 45 minutes or whatever, I won't be surprised because it's Bob Baffert. At this point, you can't be. But I am just because here's the other thing too. You guys got to remember, Rodriguez was supposed to be the Baffert in this race, and when he apparently was having issues, they went ahead and entered this horse. And we all thought, I think we all, anyone like, that's weird that why would he enter 2? And then it's like a couple days later or a day later, whatever it was, Rodriguez scratched. Like, oh, that's why. So this is not even his first choice. It's just kind of like, oh, he's doing well enough. Let's run him. So, yeah, here's the thing, too. Hypnus almost beat him last out, and Hypnus wasn't anywhere near in the Lexington, which Gosker won. So by that logic, and again, it's like, it's impossible to compare those, but by that logic, Gosker is 18-1 and Gloriented is 6-1, 7-1. So if it wasn't Bob Baffert, the horse would be double those odds. So I'm okay with it. I'm okay with. Listen, there's certain horses in this race. I'll list off the horses that I'm okay on top not using. And at the end of the day, it's like, hey, if I lose that, then I just was never going to get there because I never really liked him. And that's Goal Oriented, American Promise, Heart of Honor. And these aren't necessarily horses I don't like. I like Heart of Honor underneath. Pay Billy. Sandman, even as far as the win goes, and Gosker. I don't think those horses are win candidates. The only horse that I don't have as a win in any of my like pick threes, doubles, that kind of stuff is River Thames, and I'm okay with not using, but it's going to be the one where you're like, yeah, I saw that one coming a little bit. But, Pletcher's never won this race, and I don't think this horse wants to go quite this far. So, I can't quite get there with him. Yeah. I basically when I put together my betting structure and the betting Bible and my personal structure, I knew that I liked Clever again, but it's a Preakness. You got to kind of hammer your opinions a little bit more than you would say in the Derby. So I just played that straight, then exacta over journalism. But I also knew that I didn't want to have journalism win and me not cash, right? Because I still think he's a very likely winner. So I put coverage. I played, $5, $10, $20, however your budgets are, bases on doubles and pick threes getting into this race, saying, okay, if I can get there live to journalism and obviously Clever again, because I want to be right. I want to be right multiple times. Then that's great. And that's where we're at. Live odds. I'll read them off to you guys. Goal oriented is 7-1, 6-5 on journalism, 10-1 on American Promise, 17-1 on Heart of Honor, 13-1 on Pay Billy, 8-1 on River Thames, 5-1 on Sandman, 5-1 on Clever again, and 18-1 on Gosker. We are 40 minutes to post. Those odds have not really changed. Listen, Manlow, you can't really see it. It's got the beard, but I'm blushing big time. So, big time. It's good to have you in here, buddy. How you doing, Manlow? Are you you set up? We were talking about before the day. Are you set up with what you need? Seems like it was weird early in the day, but the last couple of races have been fairly, I wouldn't say predictable, but more to form. So, I could see River running really well, Gary, and I have an exacta. Like, I have exacta basically only using Clever. Like, I play cold exacta Clever over journalism. I could see River Thames screwing that up one way or another, whether it be journalism River, Clever River. That would be pretty unlikely with that one, but still, I could see him doing that. The way I envision this race, though, Clever again should sit a perfect trip. He's got speed, but even Jose said before, we don't necessarily need to use it. He rates in the mornings, obviously different in the afternoons, but we'll see. But he's drawing outside, so he's going to be able to see what goal-oriented and Pratt do, what Nick Juarez and American Promise do. So you're going to be able to kind of dictate things, and if he wants to take it, he can. If not, then you could envision him sitting kind of half a length off of, say, goal-oriented. That is Clever again. The kind of tricky situation here is there's quite a bit of forward-placed horses that you could almost make a case that journalism might be. There's 9 horses in the race, maybe 7th at one point in this race. It depends on kind of Rispoli is going to have some decisions to make and how much he wants to get this horse into the race early on, but also to be careful not to compromise this horse with the speed. Yeah, 6-5 is fair on journalism. That's the number. I mean, anything south of that, you got to start to kind of wonder, or decide if you want to play that or not. But 6-5 is more than fair. Honestly, the doubles and the pick threes aren't that bad. Like the dollar double to journalism is paying almost 11-1. To Clever again is paying 30-1. And those are the two lowest, So the double with not a lot of people had Fort Washington there, which is nice for those of us who did. And the pick threes aren't terrible considering you had a very strong favorite in the first leg. And then, to be paying 22, almost 23-1 to journalism on that dollar pick 3. So yeah, and listen, Gary, there kind of comes. It's pretty simple, right? At this point, it's like, listen, if he is half the horse we think he is, then he should win or at least run very, very well. Like, you can only do so much. You can get yourself in the position, and then past that, you got to have them run. But I think you sitting here with your tickets being dependent on journalism is not a bad situation to be in. Now, if you're sitting here needing an American Promise or something in order for you to cash, that's a different story. Gosker, I like Gosker actually. I just don't know that he's good. He's got his speed figures are quite slow compared to everybody else in the field. I could see him being a horse picking up pieces of it, maybe third, fourth. Like, he doesn't really strike. I think Gosker and Heart of Honor are 2 horses I like underneath. 17-1 and 18-1, because they don't really strike me as horses that are going to quit. Horses like Clever Again, obviously, even Goal Oriented. We don't know River Thames. Some of those horses are not. You don't know how far, like, if they're going to keep going with it. I think Gosker and Heart of Honor will keep going. I don't know if they're anywhere near good enough to hit the board, but I don't envision them quitting. That's just kind of the way I look at it. Hoof-hearted? Who's hoof-hearted? Heart of Honor? I don't know. Yeah, Sean, I think you'll love the distance. He kind of just clunked up there and finally got to the wire. I had him that day, and that was nice. But it's like, dude, talk about just crawling to the wire. So, he's gonna have to get a lot. He's gonna have to improve his buyer points to 20 points based on buyers in order to win this race, and that's a big jump. But I could see him hitting the board third, fourth. Sandman, yeah. I don't know. You could use him underneath. I've kind of come to the conclusion now with Sandman that Arkansas Derby was kind of the fluke of his form. Like, you kind of look at it and it's like, okay, was that like what was he was starting to figure it out, or was that kind of the fluke? And I know we only had one race since, and it was a Derby, but that pace that day was just absolutely insane. Look at Publisher. Even he looked good in the Arkansas Derby. He didn't do any running really in the Kentucky Derby. I think Sandman's okay. I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever if he hit the board. I can't play him on top anywhere near. I just think it was a setup race in the Arkansas Derby. And again, like, that's part, like I'm saying, like, you just got to get to a point where you got to live and die by your opinions. And you know what? I might be wrong on him. I might be wrong on Clever Again, loving him. You know what I mean? But that's just the opinions I have. And I think, I'm okay with that, as long you got to have, you got to be okay with yours as well. So he's a pretty horse. He's a cool looking horse. But, the day that we were at the Arkansas Derby that day, Halsman and I, and we were obviously, excited to see Cornucopian and Sandman and Coal Battle and some of those horses. And I was getting ready to go. I was going to see him, and then I was going to go to the window and bet like 100 to win on Cornucopian, because his odds were fairly playable, that day. And I saw them come through. Halter and I weren't even together. We were standing separate places, and we rejoined. We're like, oh my gosh, none of those horses look like Derby horses. And I did not go bet Cornucopian, thank goodness. And listen, I don't think that Arkansas Derby was very good. Let's see. We are 32 minutes to post, folks. I'll read you like when something changes, but honestly, nothing's changed. It's staying pretty normal. The odds are, I think the betting is still it'll start to move a little bit, I'd say, when we get closer. Maybe we get even money on journalism. I'd say I wouldn't be surprised if it goes any lower than even money. Gonna be interesting to see who gets second choice. Sandman obviously has that win money. Definitely looks like it's going to be between Clever Again and Sandman. Let's look at some of these probables for the exactas, if anybody's interested in those. Like, for instance, I have the Clever Again over Journalism. That's paying 11-1. A little lower than I expected. I thought it'd be like, 12 to 15, but, above 10, I'd figured. So that's good. That's the Journalism over Clever Again, say, for instance, is 7-1. That's definitely the lowest opinion there. 12-1 was Sandman. Those are all with Journalism on top. Joe, I mean, listen, it may be. I mean, it's proven to be an issue for a lot of horses, right? The 2 weeks, and we've seen horses that, you look at I think about Epicenter a lot when I think about Journalism making this, similar situation, although not similar in the sense that, Epicenter got ran down by the biggest long shot in the Kentucky Derby history. But similar in the sense that they both finished second. They both had years going up to the Derby that were pretty flawless and looked like pretty good, solid winners for the Derby. Both got beat. The Derby winner in both those times did not come back to run in the next leg, the Preakness. And then in the Preakness, the Epicenter was like, well, there's no way he can lose this one, and he did. So, that just, if is enough starch going to be out of Journalism for a horse like Clever Again, or a horse like, Goal Oriented or River Thames or whatever, for him to hold him off, because I do expect him to run. Like, he's just been a solid horse his whole career. I would be completely shocked if he doesn't show up. Like, completely shocked if Journalism doesn't show up. You just wonder if he has that oomph. So here's the thing, and I read this earlier. I'll read it again. I posted on the site since 1960. So Journalism will be trying to become just the fourth Derby runner-up since 1960 to win the Preakness. From 1961 till last year, 44 Derby runner-ups have started in the Preakness, and only 3 have won. The last one was Exaggerator, if y'all remember that Exaggerator. But, I mean, it's been, obviously it's not something that happens a lot, because a lot of times if you don't win the Derby, you skip the next race. But, again, you kind of wonder, when it's a horse that finished 5th, 7th, whatever, looking at Lucky, a horse that had much traffic and issues in the Derby, came back to dominate in the Preakness. But when it's a horse that kind of had had the setup, ran, just got beat, it's like, can you really get it done now again the next time? That's the interesting thing. So it's definitely a stat for me, Joe, that put me a little bit on the fence with him as far as the win side. And I wouldn't even say that, because I still think he's got a great shot to win. Gave me more confidence on betting Clever Again to beat him. So there you go. How many of those horses have tried beating? I don't know. It's a good question. That's a good question. I don't know that stat. I just know that when Epicenter tried, the Derby winner wasn't in there either. You just have you have a bunch of new shooters, and I think this year we got some decent new shooters. Goal Oriented. Whether or not I'm using him or not, he's got talent, right? River Thames could have ran the Derby, decided not to. Clever Again, I really like, obviously, and Gosker. Maybe he's not fast enough, but I do think, the new shooters are decent here, and these horses are going to have, a horse like Journalism is going to have to. When I first thought of the field or saw who was maybe coming, I was like, well, Journalism needs 70% to win this, and now I'm like, I don't know. If Journalism, Clever Again, River Thames, Gosker wins, my payouts will have a comment in it. If not, even interested in some high-end sport. Well, part of me wants the card, so I kind of rooting against you, but I can't, because I need Clever Again and Journalism here as well. So Clever Again would be awful sweet. I'll just say that. So, but if you guys have been following the betting Bible, you've probably made money today. Got hot here late, had that Sir Barton winner, which was nice. But this would certainly cap things off. By the way, I'm seeing on the screen here D. Wayne and Bob Baffert. I don't know if you guys have seen the interview that Jerry and Randy Moss did earlier. I don't know if it was early in the week, but I just saw it today with the coach and Bob. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. You guys have to watch it. Two legends, man. Had Clever ran in the Derby, would you have been in your top four? That's a good question, Joe. Because that would have meant a lot of different aspects, right? Because that would have meant he would qualify, of course, and that meant he would have done it in the Arkansas Derby or wherever. So the answer to that would be maybe. I can't say for sure. I know that he wanted to run him there. That was the plan, and just that he didn't get back to the track early enough, and so that's what I like about him too. Is goal oriented was not a horse like kind of just like, hey, let's run him here. Clever again, since basically they knew that he was not going to be a horse that would make the Derby. The Preakness was where we wanted to go, and so I like that aspect about him. I think a lot of Clever again. I really do. I like him a lot. I think he's a really good horse. Do I think American Promise has any chance? I'll say it kind of like I said about goal oriented. Do you know who's won the second most Preaknesses? It's Dwayne Lucas, number 7. So yeah, did I think Caesar Gray would win it last year? No. So I don't think he can win, but again, it's Dwayne. So can I say he has no shot? Not really. Will I make any money if he wins? No. Let's put it that way. I'll put it that way. Going hard against journalism to my detriment. I hope Gold can wire it. Yeah, listen, I think are you talking about CE? Is that Clever again? I don't know. But I think there's a shot. I do think there is an outside shot that if one of these horses on the front end, like a goal oriented, like let's just say like Clever again stumbles out of the gate and goal oriented gets a smooth lead, and Pratt is just then there's a situation where be careful. And same goes with vice versa. Say goal oriented doesn't break well and Clever again gets that smooth lead that he's been getting in the last couple of races, then all of a sudden we got a situation here that we could see a gate to wire. And that's the last thing you want to see if you are Rispoli on journalism. So you really want to see these horses break well and have some sort of race to get to the lead and put a little pressure on them, so that way it softens them up a little bit for journalism. Because Clever again's a horse, as much as I like him, he's not. I'm not worried about the distance with Clever again. I think he can run all day, and even Asmussen has said that, but he's never really experienced pressure. And we don't know what kind of trip he's going to get. We don't know if Ortiz will sit him off or if he'll go. And there's some question marks with him. So. Carol, I can't do it live. That's why I said tell everybody on the Derby one too. I had 15,000 people in here for the Derby one, and everyone wanted me to show the race. And I was like, I can't show it, or else we'll be banned. So I can tell you, I'll be watching it, and I'll give you the play-by-play. But it's the best I can do. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Pay Billy's got some form for sure coming into the race, but definitely outclassed. He wouldn't shock me at all, though, if he got a piece. I don't think him winning. I don't see him winning, let's just say. But if he got a piece, like, I'm not going to be surprised. I was just looking at the odds right now. I'm a little surprised. 7-1 on goal oriented, 6-5 on journalism. American Promise at 10-1. Heart of Honor at 17-1. Pay Billy 14-1. River Thames at 8-1. Sandman at 5-1. Clever again 5-1, and Gosker at 18. I would say the horse that I'm most surprised on, I'd say it's 2 that neither River Thames or goal oriented haven't taken any money. Goal Oriented has floated up 1 from the morning line, and River Tim's has floated up almost double. So that's a little surprising to me. No, we have 21 minutes to post. I don't know if that means a ton of money is floating onto on Sandman and Clever again, and that's why. But I'm a little surprised that neither one of those horses have got much action. The track is fast now. It's moved to fast, so we're all good. No issues whatsoever. Yeah, it'd be typical Baffert to have to win the race at 7-1. I should just post a big comment saying no live, will not show live race. Oh, JL. See, I was against him. I had a win bet on the Pletcher there. What's everybody's let's do, what's your cold try? Give me your cold try. Mine is 8-2-6. 8-2-6 would be my cold try. I posted this question on Twitter earlier this week, and it got a ton of action. So I think it's an interesting question. Who's the horse that you're like just 1,000% against? You don't like at all, which obviously means, but also at the same time, like you just in the back of your mind, you're like that fucker's gonna win. Like I'm totally against this horse, and he's going to win. Who is it? Mine's Goal Oriented for sure. I think because I wouldn't say River Tim's I kind of like, but Goal Oriented I've been kind of against from jump, so that'd be mine. Against Sandman, I'm against him, and I don't think he's gonna win. Like I don't have that fear of him winning, but yeah, it's definitely Goal Oriented for me. 2-6-8. 2 over 6-8. I like that. 2-6-8 cold. 2-6-1. 2-8-4. 1-7-4. So the amateurs got going with the Goal Oriented there. Dude, I tell you what, there's not a better looking horse in the race. He is a looker. I don't know if that's why he gets a lot of action or what, but he looks flawless. I mean, he really is a beautiful horse, which all of Lucas's horse really do. So not a huge surprise, but he's a good looking horse. We are. I want to look at some options here because I think there's some opportunity. Like, let's say you think journalism is for sure going to win. Like, you're locked in on that, which I think is more than fair. Like, let's say, but you're confused or you don't know between, let's say, the 6 and the 8. Well, the 8 pays 7-1 if the 8 gets second, and it's 11-1 on the 6 getting second if you got journalism on top. So if you're gonna play that, and this is just kind of general advice on that particular one, don't play 2 over 6-8. Play 2-8 for 20, and then play 2-6 for 10 or whatever. You gotta make because obviously the payout is less on the 8, so you need to up that bet versus playing them just part wheeling it. So that's really the only one. Like if you're between the 6 and the 7. Underneath, they're both very similar, 11 and 12-1. 13-1 on the 2-1. So again, another horse, and then everybody else you don't have to mess with it because they're all 30-1 plus. Listen, not superstitious at all. Oh yeah, Jessica. We will 1000% being covering the Belmont. This is what we do for a living, Jessica. So literally cover racing for a living. So we'll actually be at the Belmont. The racing news will be at the Belmont. So we'll be at Saratoga. We're gonna try to go live though. We're good chance we'll be getting ripped, and so we might jump live. Hopefully, like we're like in like the VIP like club level area for this Naira Bets thing, and so hopefully the internet works well so we can go live. By the way, guys, just get ready because forget about the Belmont for a second. The Met Mile is going to be the race of the year. The Met Mile is absolutely insane. Let me just read you who the probables are. I don't know where I did with that. Oh, okay. Nisos, White Abario, Quince Brew, Hoist of Gold, Bishop's Bay, Just a Touch, Stronghold, Banishing, Crazy Mason, Post Time, Bookham Dano, Mind Frame, Fierceness, and Raging Torrent. Mind Frame, Fierceness, and Nisos with Just a Touch. Bookham Dano is a nice horse. That's an insane race. We are 15 minutes to post. Still, still kind of the same similar odds here, guys. Nothing much to report on the odds department. Let's see what this pick three. What's the pick three paying? To the 2, it pays 22. Hopefully, I mean, at the very least, we can just get like that group of them. Nisos, Fierceness, Mind Frame. "13 minutes to post." What questions do you guys have? Who's the best jockey of this group? I mean, probably Flavian Pratt, honestly. Goal oriented. Yeah, I mean, he's not dumb. I mean, that's who I would want to ride if I was. Hey, freak off! That's their last warning, buddy. You're gonna get. I'm gonna boot you. I'm gonna boot you. 2846. I like it. I do like that a lot. I believe that is my super. I mean, I think I have as my top 4. Not in that exact order, but yeah. Pratt is Johnny V is not better than Flavian Pratt, but I have a lot of respect for JV too. JV's a good rider for these big races. He knows what to do. I like Heart of Honor a decent amount underneath. Now, not to win. Winning would be an absolute shock. You just go watch some of those last couple races and look at his form. He's never gotten worse than second. He just seems like a horse that stays on. Even those last 2 that were both at a mile and 3/16, just kind of. I mean, he's not super sexy to watch, but he kind of just grinds, and that's, assuming he takes to this surface or this, the U.S. kind of surface and all that, just stuff you don't know. But, I think underneath he could be a horse that could juice this thing up underneath instead of, like some of the, Sandman, for instance. Sorry I'm annoying, Janine, but can't show the race. That is illegal. Here's a fun fact, everybody. The race is on NBC. It's on NBC. Like, it's like get it rabbit ears, and you can watch NBC. Jared, having a great day. Hit early pick 5, Pimlico, $50 ticket. Single. Hey, Peter. There we go. Boom. 48K. So who do you like here, Peter? Because I'm going to fade you. I'm going to back you. Who do you like? I'm going to back Peter. Peter's hot. There's like 1,000 ways you could watch NBC. It's not like it's on like, I understand like the people that stream like the pay-per-view fights and stuff. It's like not everybody's going to pay for those or whatever, but come on, it's NBC. Let's see. Is your personal opinion, do you think we will ever see a run like Secretariat's Belmont in our lifetime? No. I mean, Jessica, the closest thing, and again, this is not for all the people that are older than me in here, this is certainly no disrespect to Secretariat. I just wasn't alive for Secretariat. The closest thing I've ever seen to Secretariat, and once again, I can't compare him, was Flightline. And I saw him in person many times. Saw him do what I saw at the, thank you, Joe. That was the closest I've seen. And listen, I've seen Pharaoh in person. I see Pharaoh multiple times. I saw Justify multiple times. I saw Justify win the Triple Crown and Pharaoh win the Triple Crown. Saw Flightline win the Classic, win the Met Mile. All those in person. The things he did, man. Whew. That race, the Classic, when he was getting tested there by Life is Good, who's a fucking fast, good horse. And Pratt just kind of looked back at him like, are you done now? And then he's just gone. That was insane. Hey, Peter, listen, come on, buddy. Let's do this. Let's do this one time together, okay? One time. Clever Again's a beauty. He's a beauty. His dad's American Pharaoh, so what do you expect? Everyone tell Freak Off bye. Go for it, Shotty. Yeah, Valley's out. I mean, it was one of those things where you're like, uh-oh, watch out. This thing is like setting up. Like these horses are going crazy, at the front end. Like, hang on. And then you see Pratt looking up behind, kind of underneath his legs. There's a picture. He's kind of looking underneath his legs, back behind him. Like, you're like, oh, shit. He has so much horse right now. And then the race was over after that. Come on, Jose. Give us a ride here, buddy. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the support. Make sure you guys hit those likes, follows, subscribe if you haven't. Try to do these lives, obviously, for all the big ones. But we've been following our coverage. We did very, very well in the Derby. Hit the exacta. Let's hope we can do well in the Preakness here. Fingers crossed we see a nice performance. But it's been a good Triple Crown so far. And again, we'll be covering everything after this. This next week, we'll be covering the recap of this, as well as the look ahead at the Belmont in 3 weeks. So, Kevin, are you nervous? Like, this is the first horse we've had that we've claimed that it's like actually feels like has a shot. The other ones you're just like, let's hope Luxor Cafe runs okay, or let's just hope we can get that Lucas idiot in the race. But this one actually feels like, hey, people actually like this horse. So, are you nervous? I just hope he runs well. Give us a run, Get to the way I envision this race is that we get to the top of the stretch, and Clever Again has kicked on. Whether it's kind of he's come from off of it a tad, or if he's been gate to wire, he goes on with it. He's like the horse that he calls first. And then you see journalism coming. And then it's just a matter of will he get to him or not? Will he pass by him like he's standing still? Will Clever Again fight him off? I don't know. That's how I envision it. Yeah, jolting. I mean, listen, I'm jealous that you got to see that. So, who do you think the pace will favor the most? I mean, from a pace standpoint, the horse that drew the best is Clever Again. He drew outside the speed, which is what you want for a horse that has speed, right? If you drew the one, he's going. You have a little more versatility drawing on the outside. The race sets up very nicely for journalism. That's the other thing. Like he's not a dead closer. There is speed in the race. From like a pure, this race sets up, it's probably journalism. The race is in, what is it, guys? Like 10 minutes now? 5 minutes. Holy shit. 5 minutes to post. 5 minutes to post, folks. Let's look at our horse. Sandman, he always looks good though. Oh, Clever Again. Take a little poop before we get on the track. I like it. Get those nerves. Get the nerves out, buddy. All right, let me get a drink. Refill. All right. Getting nervous. I'm getting nervous. All right, give me your picks, guys. I will call the race. If everyone remembers how expert my call was in the Derby, you get it again. So Clever Again is now falling a tick below Sandman there at 5-1. So he's at 9-2. So he is going to be your second choice of the race, at least as of right now, with 2 minutes to post. Goal oriented at 7-1, 6-5 on journalism. More than fair. American Promise at 11-1, 17-1 on Heart of Honor, 15-1 on Pay Billy, 8-1 on River Thames. The 7 Sandman 5-1, 9-2 on the 8 Clever Again, and 9 Gosker at 19-1. Yeah, Alex, Alex, that's a really good way to say it, honestly. That's kind of where I'm at. For my bets, for my personal, I hope Clever Again wins. But it kind of feels like journalism, it kind of flexes a little bit here. Yeah, honestly, Brett, I was even surprised by the morning line on Gosker. So I was like, this horse has just not gotten any kind of love whatsoever from the start. So I don't know why, really. Just maybe a little too slow. I don't know. It's weird. Peter, let's do it, man. Clever Again would be so sick, guys. Clever Again or journalism. If Clever Again and journalism win, one of the two, I cash everything. If Clever Again wins, you might see Derby Jared back. I'll just say that. You might see Derby Jared back. For what it's worth, I really do think out of all these horses, journalism excluded, because I think he's established, I really think Clever Again's a nice horse. He damn near beat a Wesley Ward 2-year-old, went nose to nose with him. That horse went over to Ascot and barely got beat on debut, and then he was off forever, and then came right back in February, ran mile 16th and dusted him, and then did it again last out, dusted him. He's winning like he should. You kind of read between the lines, like Asmussen likes this horse, but this is a huge class test here. Horses are not quite to the gate yet. Who do you guys, when they hit the turn, the first turn, so they go past the finish line the first time, who is like your top three in order? Like, what order are they going to be in? What order do you envision? Like, they get that first turn. Who are your top three horses in order? I kind of think it's goal oriented, Clever Again, American Promise. I think there's no way that the 3 is not going to. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Asmussen's won this race twice, but it was both with freaks, Rachel and Curlin. So, I mean, he's certainly not been a guy that's hasn't even won a race, hasn't won the Derby. But again, I like the way that he has campaigned this horse to get to this race. So, whatever that's worth, journalism looks awesome. I mean, journalism's a beast. I'm watching the broadcast, so how close are they? So if you guys are want to get the call with me, then make sure you're watching the broadcast, not the track feed. So when they get to the gate here I'm going to stop watching the chat because I don't want to see. I don't want to see if you guys are ahead of me a little bit because the broadcast is obviously just a touch behind. Well, I know they control it, but you can watch the track feed and it's on earlier. So like on your ADW, for instance. Yeah, we're gonna get some questions answered here. Is journalism like a freak that just happened to get beat in the Derby, or is he a little bit not quite as good as we all thought he was? All right. Good luck, everybody. They have gotten to the gate for Preakness 150. You guys, again, this is the last time they'll run this race here at Pimlico. They're going to blow it up and redo it. And so next year, the Preakness will be at Laurel. I believe they're shooting for 2027. Come on. They are getting in the gate. This is going to be fascinating. This first round here, the first stretch, is going to be fascinating to see where these the jockeys get placed. Where do they get positioned? Okay, they're all in line. The 4's acting up in the gate. The 1's acting up in the gate. Hang on. Okay, you got them. They're off. Clean break. Clean break. Gosker, clever again. Clever again has inherited the lead, folks. Wow, he's going to set the pace. Jose sat there and looked on the outside, looked on goal-oriented, said, are you going to go? And Pratt said no. Pratt said no. So here we go. Clever again with an easy pace. No one pressuring him. Gosker just to his outside, actually. Those two, 1, 2. American Promise in 4th. Goal-oriented on the rail in 3rd. You've got Salmon all the way to the back. Journalism is sitting. He's on the rail. He's sitting behind 5 other horses. Those first 5. He's got a nice little pocket trip. But guys, Clever again is got a dream setup right here. Here comes River Thames on the outside. He wants to get going a little bit. He's a little keen to go, it looks like. See if he's they're moving pretty quick. They're moving pretty quick. Little pressure from Gosker, which isn't ideal. That's kind of annoying if you're backing Gosker. I mean, with Louis Size, he put pressure on him from jump. This is a lot to ask for a horse. Oh, jeez. Rispoli, what are you doing? Oh, my gosh. Come on, journalism, get up! Get up! Get up! Yeah! Oh my gosh, what a stretch run. What just happened? I went silent. I'm sorry, guys, because that was horses were going to go down. Holy shit. For him to win that? Wow. Hey, Manzi, get cable, buddy. Get cable. Wow. Yeah, the inquiries for sure. It ain't going to be with the winner, though. So, Brett, so basically what happened was they go to the top of the stretch. Clever again's tired. Gosker to his outside. Clever again starting to back up. Rispoli has, an absolutely terrible trip. And really, to his own disservice, he just tried to run up the backs of these horses. Clever again, and goal-oriented gets sandwich journalism, completely stop him. I thought both those horses were going down. He battles his way through. Rispoli continues on. Sandman made a nice run here as well. I thought maybe for a second it was going to be Sandman. Wow. Gosker did get second. It's 2-9-7-1. 2-9-7-1. That's journalism over Gosker, over Sandman, over goal-oriented. Gosker did. John, thank you. Never tune in again. Please do never. I hope everyone realizes, it's not my job to call the effing race. Maybe try getting cable. Gosker looked like the biggest upset winner that we've seen in in a long time. Like he had everything his own way, and almost like he escaped all the issues, and behind him was just like a huge pile up, and he's just like, well, shit, no one's gonna come get me, and boom, here they go. Wow. Yeah, clever again. That was rough. It's almost impossible to know what he was going to do. I mean, he wasn't going to win, let's be honest. But even with goal oriented, he looked like he had a little bit of horse. Those horses just got brutal trips. So no, I don't think they're going to take him down. Honestly, the way he won. But hey, listen. I only watched it live. I'll watch it again. That felt very self-inflicted, let's say, by Rispoli. I think what he thought, at least this isn't just based off of, again, watching it live. I think he thought Clever Again's going to go. Like he's going to follow Clever Again, right? And he's going to keep going. And when Clever Again was stopping and got sandwiched, he had nowhere to go. So I think he assumed Clever Again would run, and he didn't. No change. I mean, listen, you guys can whine all you want. One, get cable. Don't depend on some random dude on the internet to call the race, because I'm not a race caller. And two, when you actually do watch the replay on YouTube or whatever, you might understand why I kind of went like silent, because I literally thought two horses were about to go down. It was that tight. Like I thought both goal oriented and Clever Again were going down. Like I thought they literally were falling over. And so, yeah, I held my breath. Hey, Jim, there's a cool thing on YouTube where you can just don't have to watch. Like you can just move on. You can just get off the channel and go somewhere else. So journalism, even money. Went down to even 15-1 on Gosker, Sandman 6-1, goal oriented 8-1. I just told you. That's your top three. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to make of this race, to be honest, because Gosker, either journalism ran, or that whole race was absolutely atrocious and he just kind of was the best of the rest, or Gosker improved his buyer 20 points in one race. I thought they were going down too. I really did. That's cool. So here we go. So I would love, I can't hear what they're saying, but I would love to, hopefully he shows up at the Belmont and get a little rubber match with Sovereignty, and then obviously could win both legs, these last two legs, and be a horse that damn near won the Triple Crown. So I'm gonna have to watch that back, man. That was whew. So obviously would have made way more money with Clever Again, but like again, the way I structured everything, cashed everything because of journalism. So I knew I needed to get here and not be without a shot. So I'll take it. I'll take it for sure. Oh man, that was intense. Let me see if they're going to show. Are they going to show this again? I mean, I don't know what to make of that. I gotta I got to process this for a little bit. Like, thank goodness he had to run down Gosker, right? Because he got stopped like 3 times. Wow. Oh, he's already said he's going to run him in the Belmont as long if he's good. McCarthy is a true horseman, and he wants to run. He believes in the Triple Crown. So if he's healthy, if he's good, he'll run him. The top 3 were not something that I had. I did have journalism on top, but Gosker in second. That was, oh my gosh. Anybody? I mean, Sandman hitting the board's not a shock, really. Gosker finishing the board is crazy. The exacta paid $16, $16.90. The try, $1 try paid $73. The double paid $10.80, and the pick three, 50-cent pick 3 paid $11.30. No, goal oriented wasn't going to run him, but I think goal oriented would have gotten a hell of a lot closer than where he was at. Yeah, I mean, Clever Again was the one backing up. I don't think goal oriented was necessarily backing up, but that was rough. Hey, Ron, congrats. I never would have used Gosker second, ever. Yep, and hopefully Valleys we get both of those horses in the or all 3 of those horses in the Belmont. Yeah, I did too, buddy. I had Clever Again winning. I don't know. Honestly, that was no excuses, right? But he Gosker ran a huge race because he was right on Clever Again the whole way around. Luis Saez put pressure on him the whole way around. Who had him putting the pressure on Clever Again, and put pressure on the whole way, had him bottled into the inside, and then when the running started, he had nothing left. So tough race for Clever Again. I don't know. I'm definitely disappointed on him, but that's why I structured it that way. So hope still cashed, still hit the double, still hit the exact or the pick 3, had that multiple times. So made a profit on the day. That's solid, but it would have been a big profit with Clever Again. I did have a Clever Again over journalism exacta. That did not hit. So it's funny to me when a horse like that wins journalism and it's like, it's chalk. That sucks. Like, one of the biggest mistakes you can make in this game is not knowing the chalk and when that it's okay to use the chalk. Just because it's chalk, doesn't have to toss it out. What was the worst choke ever? Yeah, Sean, it was. I got it up right here. The triple paid $73.50 for $1. Journalism, Patricia. Okay, I'm watching the trip. Y'all are crazy. All right, so he's falling Clever. And then he's like, oh, shit. And here comes the one on the inside. Pratt really is. Pratt's not letting him out. Holy shit. Yeah, Clever Again's like, fuck this. Clever Again, no shot to run. I think Clever Again got slammed to the rail. Wow. Here, if the race is up on NBC, I'll pull it up. Honestly, if there's no change, Pratt and the 1 should have been DQ'd. Pratt should have been DQ'd. Pratt and the 1 should have been DQ'd from 4th. Just off of, I don't know. It matters to some supers, I guess. All right, hang on. Let me see if I can pull it up. I mean, Pratt knew that he was trying to get in. He has to get fined for that ride. And listen, I love Pratt, and I think there's a time and a play. Like, I think that race riding is fantastic, right? Like, you're not going to just give him the spot, like you're going to make him earn it. But it was like the second time whenever he's like, all right, like I need through and you're still not letting me through. And it's like a bam. And it's like, oh shit. Like you're going to cause a massive wreck, That's what, like, it was like the second. I don't know how he didn't get DQ'd. I mean, seriously. Oh man, it's not up yet. No, it's not up yet. If it's up, I'll show it. How did Hot Rod? How'd Goal Oriented do? As I said, he had no shot too, so I can get on here too and say it. Goal Oriented should have been DQ'd from to last. No, well, Chris, it certainly was not journalism's fault. If you go watch or Rispoli's, go watch the aerial view. He had a spot to run, and then Pratt closed it off, and then he closed it off again, and then to the disservice of the horse, because it about killed about 3 horses. And here's the thing: I like Pratt. Like, I'm not bagging on him. I like Pratt, but that was not good. What did I tell you guys? I mean, listen, I may have been wrong about Clever. I mean, I don't think he got a fair shake at it. He would have ran better than where he did, but still, like, he wasn't winning. But Baffert, man, there's a certain kind of horse that Baffert brings in here, and that's not. And Goal Oriented wasn't one of them. Yeah, I hate everything because I made sure to use journalism, and I pressed them, so I knew that you had to do that. Yes, I liked Clever again in the race, but that's why you play different tickets. Who finished last? It may have been Clever. I mean, he kind of stopped after he about fell over. Hey, Jan, I'm trying to just stay with me. I don't assume anybody's got the. I'm trying. They don't have it up yet. But if I can get it up, I'm gonna show you the race. Basically, what happened was journalism was behind a handful of horses, and he tried to go up the kind of the inside, and Goal Oriented was just the outside. Clever again was on the rail, and those two kind of I don't know. Clever really didn't move, but Pratt and Goal Oriented came in, shut him down once, and then did it one more time, shut him down again. And they all three looked like, well, not really journalism, but certainly Goal Oriented and definitely Clever again. Looked like they're about to fall. They're going to fall over. It was intense. And then journalism basically was completely stopped, sandwiched, had to re-rally, came and ran down. Gosker was like none of the wiser, right? Gosker was like just out in front of everybody thinking, hey, what? No one's coming. This is so crazy. Journalism won. Yeah, Gosker just Gosker just kept running. Like they're like, I guess no one's gonna come get me, you know. There you go, Brett. It is a little dicey at first, you know, but hey, you know, the day. Let's be honest, the day was not good racing. These horses, the undercard is certainly not the Derby. It's not like the Belmont. These aren't the greatest horses running on the undercard, so we didn't really get heavy into our opinions until later in the card, and you know, thankfully we did well. So yeah, Jared, I agree. I'm interested to see again, like this is all fresh for all of us, but I'm interested in the numbers, what it came back, because is it like he had to chase down Gosker. Gosker previous to this race hadn't ran a Beyer in the 80s, really, 81 or whatever he's been running. So it's like, did it look visually cool better because who he was trying to run down, or was it an actual? I mean, I agree. Like to even get in that kind of heat and stopped and about fall down and then re-rally and I mean, that takes a special athletic, legit horse, no question about it. But he had to chase down Gosker, you know. So I don't know. We'll have to see what the numbers look like. Yeah, I can't wait. All right, Bill. I'm excited to get his take too. We're texting. He's on the VSiN, the live VSiN show right now with Samich. We were texting each other, but he was like, "Holy shit!" That's all I heard from him. So you know, we'll talk about it. I'm sure this week on multiple channels on the show. But appreciate it, Bill. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, I think it's a very clear 1, 2, 3, right? Well, I'd say definitely certainly a 1-2. I'd put Bieza 3. I think that's fair. Sovereignty, journalism, Bieza, and all three of them should run in the Belmont. So that'll be. Usually NBC gets theirs up pretty fast. Their Preakness, but I haven't seen it up. Gosker's last Beyer was 87. Let me pull it up. Yeah, 87, 88. You know, Clever again's last Beyer was in 101. Journalism's last Beyer was a 102, 108. So, like I said, Gosker either improved his Beyer 10 to 15 points, or journalism ran worse and won still. Yeah, I know. Visually, it was like a Aaron Alterman. Yeah, there's a quick comment from him. Yeah, that's the PG version. Let me see if I can pull up the chart for you guys. At least I don't know if that's available yet. Probably not. But we don't have a Beyer yet. We don't have a replay yet, let alone a Beyer. Let's quit dreaming. Heart of Honor was last. Thank you. Yeah, of course. They should, Derek. Yep, that was interesting. Like I'm gonna have to watch that. That's gonna take a lot of analysis to kind of look at that situation. Yeah, again, I don't. Here's what I'll say about Clever again. I don't think he was winning no matter what. I'm not Solar. I don't agree that the distance was an issue. I don't think. I mean, he's certainly bred to go long. I think it was first time in a race like this. Gosker pressured him the whole entire way around. That he had never had that. and then they got squeezed at the end. I think he would have respected himself a little bit more had that not happened. But that's a lot to ask for just his horse just making his third start this year. I don't think he was going to win though. I mean, I was wrong about that for sure. Clever Again was definitely stopping. Yeah. That trip, I mean, if you guys, before I went silent because I was trying to hold my breath watching that stretch run, I was like, yeah, I mean, no one's pressuring Clever Again. I thought he got the trip, So honestly, if he was a little bit better, he would have at least made a better representation of himself. I agree with that. So. Alex, I'm going to disagree with you. At first, I thought that, but I think it was an aggressive ride for sure, but I don't think it was on him. I think it was on Pratt. I think Pratt is the cause of the incident, not journalism or not Rispoli. That's just I've watched it twice, so I can't. Once I can really dissect it more, I can give you better. But I thought Rispoli. Listen, it was not a very smart ride from Rispoli. Let's be honest. He should, with that kind of horse, the kind of horse he had, clearly on the stretch. Why not just kick out wide, and go right? Like that. Rispoli did him no favors. Let's put it that way. He's damn lucky he won the race, but I don't necessarily think it's all on him. But you got on the flip side, you can also sit there and say, well, sometimes that happens when you try to go inside, right? That shit happens. So I think that there's that aspect as well. Like, what'd you expect when you tried to go inside? I do think what cost him the most was Clever Again. I think he thought Rispoli made a vital mistake and thought he was following Clever Again, meaning thought he was, I'm just going to, that's the horse I need to chase, right? I'm going to just follow him. Oh, shit, he's backing up. Oh, shit, now I got to come in. Oh, shit, here comes Pratt. He's, you know what I mean? And then everything kind of unraveled at that point. So I do think, again, I don't know. I mean, it seemed like maybe it was a little bit both. But I will say that I do think it's kind of like it's like, what do you think would happen? It's the Preakness. What do you think would happen when you tried to go inside? That shit can happen. Yeah, goal oriented was fourth. Correct. Still do not have a chart. Still don't have a replay. What's up? Yeah, Joey. He damn near cost himself a placing there for sure in the Derby. I'm really surprised they didn't DQ goal oriented. I'm really. I mean, I don't know who got fifth, but could have. I don't care about the last race, so I'm not betting the Arabian horses. Hey, listen, Bill. As soon as I can get one, I'm going to show it. I'm looking. I can't show it the one off Twin Spires, but I'll wait till it comes up on NBC on YouTube. When it's public, I'll show it. Yeah, I don't know. That, it was a pretty quick review too. She was still interviewing Rispoli when she said there was no change. So that was pretty quick. What's up? All right, let me pull it up here. Thank you. You get a gold star. I don't see it, though. Oh, there we go. Let's go. Joseph, I don't agree with you, unfortunately. But like I say, we all have opinions.
Going from back-to-back Preaknesses. There's to...
They're off in the Preakness. And journalism is out very fast, but Clever again is the quickest. And will take the lead
YouTube.
with long shot Gosker going up on the outside. So it's going to be these two to set the pace as they make that final trip.
So again, like right here, I'm sitting there thinking, wow, Clever again. Like this is the trip you wanted, you know? No pressure. Then Gosker and Louis Dias said, no, you're not going to get away with it. Which, I mean, listen, I kind of thought he was taking one for the team. I didn't really expect Gosker to keep going. Gosker ran a nice race, for sure.
23.19, the opening quarter mile. That's set by Clever.
But look at this right here.
Jose
I mean, what more do you want?
Length and a half over Gosker in second. Goal oriented is tucked in third.
Of Clever again.
Then to the outside comes
not much
River
pressure
Thames.
on him right now.
American Promise, the D-Wayne Lucas runner under Nick Juarez is fifth right now.
Really
4 lengths from the front, and Umberto Rispoli has journalism just to his inside, now being nudged along to keep up his journalism.
River Thames was not good
along
either.
Here up the backstretch with 5 lengths to make up. Then Pay Billy, Sandman at the back with Heart of Honor.
Another horse I expected to run
was 46.66 seconds.
He did.
Make their way into the far turn. Clever again, and Gosker.
This is where the pressure started, and like Clever again.
With River Thames running in third.
But
goal-oriented
I don't know if it, if it would have been different if he was on the outside. So if you watch the start, we'll watch it again. Jose didn't want the lead. He kind of kept looking like, am I going to take it?
As they make their way toward the top of the stretch.
Here I knew I was in trouble.
Gosker trying to pull up a huge upset here. Has taken the lead on the outside. Clever again cuts the corner. Journalism is getting closer now. He's behind a wall of horses. He's looking for a place to go, and he's got nowhere to go. Oh, he bumped hard.
I mean, I don't know how Clever gets
oriented. In the meanwhile, Gosker's running the race of his life.
Clever again had to get last. Look at him. He stopped him.
And he has moved up on the far outside. Journalism is still running on. He's back into second. He might even win it. There's the wire. Oh, my goodness. Journalism has won the Preakness Stakes in a performance like you read about.
It may have been, for sure. I mean, it wouldn't be surprising,
would it? Remarkable recovery by journalism.
I want to watch the start again real quick. Look at Jose on the 8 on Clever again. Keeps looking over Pratt in the 1. Like, you're going to take it, right? Look at him. He's looking.
And journalism is out very fast, but Clever again is the
fine.
quickest and will take the lead.
He keeps looking. Look at him.
Gosker going up on the outside.
Go look.
So it's going to be these two to set
all right,
the pace.
I'll take it.
As
so I don't
they
know
make that
if
final trip.
if they kind of assumed like a lot of us did.
And then it's goal-oriented running in
know
third.
goal-oriented and Baffer comes in.
And then American Promise in fourth. Journalism broke very well, but he's down on the inside, moving into the turn as River Thames goes up 3 wide. Then Pay Billy, Heart of Honor, and late running Sandman is racing on the outside. Clever again cuts the corner. Journalism is getting closer now. He's behind a wall of horses. He's looking for a place to go, and he's got nowhere to go. Oh, he bumped hard with goal-oriented. In the meanwhile, Gosker's running the race of his life, and Sandman has entered the scene.
Him and Clever may want to be milers.
Journalism is still running on. He's back into second. He might even win it. There's the wire. Oh, my goodness. Journalism has won. He's got a lot of ground to cover. He is still 5 lengths behind as they make their way toward the top of the stretch. Gosker trying to pull off a huge upset here. Has taken the lead on the outside. Clever again cuts the corner. Journalism is getting closer.
So right
now.
here, he's certainly made a mistake. Because these two, Clever again is stopping, and he wants to get on the inside of him.
5 lengths behind
wants to get on the
as
outside
they make their way toward the top of the stretch.
Right here.
Gosker trying to pull off a huge upset
all
here.
The 8.
Has
Well, the 8
taken the lead on the
Here
outside.
comes the 1 inside
Clever
too.
again
So
cuts
now
the
he has
corner.
nowhere to go.
Journalism
now he
is
tries to
getting
force
closer
himself
now.
out. Clever again's holding. He doesn't move. Right. He's staying his ground. You got the 9 in front of him. You got the 8 to his inside, and you got the 1 who's now coming in on him.
Behind a wall of horses, he's looking for a place to go, and he's got nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Oh, he bumped hard with goal-oriented. In the meanwhile, Gosker's running the race of his life, and Sandman has entered the scene, and he has moved up to the far outside. Journalism is still running on. He's back into second.
He might win.
He might even
win. He might win. Holy shit, he did.
My goodness! Journalism has won the Preakness Stakes in a performance like you read about.
A remarkable recovery by
0.66 seconds. They make their way into the far turn. Clever again, and Gosker, and these two are right together on the lead, with River Thames running in third. Goal-oriented is fourth. American Promise fifth on the outside. Journalism is still sixth. He's got a lot of ground to cover. He is still 5 lengths behind.
Yeah, you know what? When you watch the replay back,
Gosker trying to pull off a huge upset here. Has taken the lead on the outside. Clever again cuts the corner. Journalism is getting closer now. He's behind a wall of horses. He's looking for a place to go, and he's got nowhere to go. Oh, he bumped hard.
That was so bad.
And meanwhile, Gosker's running the race of his life, looking for a place to go.
Look at that. Look at that. This Journalism won, guys. This horse won.
Oh, and he's got nowhere to go. Oh, he bumped hard with goal-oriented. In the meanwhile, Gosker's running the race of his life, and Sandman has entered the scene, and he has moved up on the far outside. Journalism is still running on. He's back into second. He might even win it. There's the wire. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I don't think
Journalism
like.
Won the Preakness
Yeah, I don't even know if Clever can finish. If he did,
like you read about.
Just galloped across, but he never even came
a remarkable
on the wire there.
by Journalism. The heavy jostling as he tried to squeeze
like I said,
through.
Joseph, I don't know if you were in here yet whenever I was mentioning it, but like I said earlier, it's kind of one of those things.
Journalism
is like
second in the Derby. Journalism has its day in 2025.
Rispoli, it's like what you expect,
Preakness.
you know?
What a courageous race by Journalism.
Now,
Squeezed early,
I think
farther back than he wanted to be. Umberto Rispoli did not panic. He saved the ground in the first turn. He saved it in the second round.
Sure. Like
in the second turn,
went
for a spot, turning for home. That was a crowd, but you have to do that, Mike.
Who created the contact? Who created the situation?
And Journalism, to his credit, had enough courage to force his way through there and overcome an almost insurmountable lead by Gosker
and just tries to force his way through instead of
certainly will be.
Hey, listen, if the horse wins like that,
a third look,
take it to the outside
from the stewards. Journalism Clever against
the outside.
Goal-oriented, the unofficial under the wire. Let's watch again.
There was not only jostling here, there was some even exchanges of elbows at one point between Flavian Pratt on the one-horse goal-oriented and Umberto Rispoli on Journalism, a little similar to what Journalism had to overcome to win the Santa Anita Derby. He showed such courageousness to win that. I thought he had no shot at the top of the stretch when he saw what was in front of him. But look at him accelerate and run down Gosker late.
He created the problem, but I mean, it's
now, most of the jostling's already happened, but they're straightened up, and Umberto Rispoli and Journalism have a spot there. And it looks like goal-oriented comes in on him. Flavian Pratt crowds Journalism, and then in turn crowds Clever again. But Journalism would have none of it. He kept his composure. He regrouped. And Umberto Rispoli asked him for his life, and he gave it to him. Oh, what an effort by Journalism.
Yeah.
Let me give you the under the wire again. Journalism, Gosker's Sandman, goal-oriented, 2-9-7-1, unofficially under the wire. But now the continued multiple looks from the stewards. This is on board Clever again,
who was basically eased in the final eighth of a mile. He was just sort of
so like look right here. Why not? If you're Rispoli, just go like this. Whoop, whoop, just whoop. Go outside of him.
Out of ground to cover. He is still 5 lengths behind as they make their way toward the top of the stretch. Gosker trying to pull off a huge upset here. Has taken the lead on the outside. Clever again cuts the corner. Journalism is getting closer now. He's behind a wall of horses. He's looking for a place to go, and he's got nowhere to go. Oh, he bumped hard with goal-oriented. In the meanwhile, Godspear's running the race of his life, and Sandman has entered the scene. And he has moved up to the far outside. Journalism is still running on. He's back into second. He might even win it. Here's the wire. Oh, my goodness. Journalism has won the Preakness Stakes in a performance like you
on to Belmont.
About.
A remarkable recovery by Journalism. The heavy jostling as he tried to squeeze through two other horses.
I don't know how much horse racing you watch.
Bumping with goal-oriented.
Sort of close, I guess, but
Journalism is still running on. He's back into second. He might even win it.
You watch enough horse racing, it's not close. It's the angle. Look, he's ahead of Link. He's half a length ahead of him. How is that close? I think they're going to go. They're going to try. Now, obviously, they have everything they can do. They got to build. I respect the hell out of them for coming here, right, after the Derby. So I think that's amazing. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would love to see it. We probably won't get the best journalism, though. It's unfortunate. But to run that good off of because here's the thing. All this aside, the fight or the scram and getting bumped and all that aside, just run like a horse coming off of 2 weeks to run down that horse. That says a lot, because a lot of times it would be you would see him kind of maybe he runs up, gets second, or just doesn't have quite enough kick. But to do that off of 2 weeks, it's gonna be that 3. This third one, the 3, that's going to be, it's always like the 2 weeks, like a trainer can get them to it. It's like, can you get them to the next one, especially after that. This is going to give a lot of talk, right, for the next 3 weeks. It'll be interesting to see. Honestly, Clever again had to have some cuts. I don't know what I don't understand the Clever again. Like he didn't. Other than stopping, he never did anything.
On the outside, Journalism is still 6th. He's got a lot of ground to cover. He is still 5 lengths behind as they make their way toward the top of the stretch. Gosker trying to pull off a huge upset here.
He should have had horse
taking the lead on the outside.
Would have loved
Clever again cuts the quarter. Journalism is getting closer now. He's behind a wall of horses. He's looking for a place to go, and he's got nowhere to go.
He's in the same exact place until he gets absolutely killed and pushed.
In the meanwhile, Godspear's running the race of his life, and Sandman has entered the scene, and he has moved up to the far outside. Journalism is still running on. He's back into second. He might even win it. Here's the wire. Oh, my goodness. Journalism.
This is by far not by far. It is certainly one of the best horses we've would have seen. I mean, I think he would have legitimately had a shot. And how good is Sovereignty? How good Sovereignty win?
As he tried to squeeze
in the Derby,
two other horses. The heavy bumping with goal-oriented. Able to make the late charge. Journalism second in the Derby. Journalism has its day in 2025 and wins the Preakness.
What a courageous race
see if I can stick around a little bit.
Got squeezed early, farther back than he wanted to be. Umberto Rispoli did not panic.
You guys, any other comments, questions? I mean, I feel like we have a lot of...
in the second turn, went for a spot, turning for home. There was a crowd, but you have to do that, Mike. It was do or die at that point, and Journalism, to his credit, had enough courage to force his way through there and overcome an almost insurmountable lead by Gosker in the stretch.
There certainly will be a second look, a third look, a fourth look from the stewards. Journalism Clever against Sandman, goal-oriented, the unofficial under the wire. Let's watch again.
There was not only jostling here, there was some even exchanges of elbows at one point between Flavian Pratt on the one-horse goal-oriented and Umberto Rispoli on Journalism, a little similar to what Journalism had to overcome to win the Santa Anita Derby. He showed such courageousness to win that. I thought he had no shot at the top of the stretch when he saw what was in front of him. But look at him accelerate and run down Gosper Lake.
Now, most of the jostling's already happened, but they're straightened up, and Umberto Rispoli and Journalism have a spot there. And it looks like
there's no doubt
in on him. Flavian Pratt crowds Journalism, and then in turn crowds Clever again.
That he had a, you don't like
would have none of it.
And,
he kept his composure, he regrouped, and Umberto Rispoli asked him for his life, and he gave it to him.
Down
what an effort by Journalism.
And has
Let me give you the under the wire again. Journalism, Gosker, Sandman, goal-oriented, 2-9-7-1, unofficially under the wire, but now the continued multiple looks from the Stewards.
You have to be athletic to do what
this is on-board Clever again.
Who was basically eased in the final 8th of a mile. He was just sort of an ancillary part of all that bumping. And he was already beginning to fade, so Jose Ortiz just essentially eased him in the last furlong to finish the distant last.
You think Umberto Rispoli's heart is beating fast? Here he is with Donna.
Umberto is very emotional. He just said, if this is a dream, please, nobody wake me up. Really Umberto, you took a leap of faith when you came here from Italy in 2020. And
I didn't know it was on. My bad. I had no idea it was on. I thought it was muted. It's not on my end. Oh, shit. It's been on the whole time. My speakers were muted. Well. That's going to get the analysis banned on here for sure. I had no idea. Honestly, it wasn't on my end, but my keyboard, like my computer itself, was muted, but the sound wasn't. And so, thanks for telling me. Could have told me that like 20 minutes ago. Like, guys, it's blaring. No wonder. Sorry. Let's see if I can pull up. See the chart. I'm sure the chart's up now. Yeah. Could you hear anything? For real? Was it like you couldn't even hear it? That's hilarious. I hope it. Oh, I did say someone told me to shut up earlier, so maybe that was why. I mean, that's on me. So here's an interesting analysis from the legend John White, who, by the way, has been a steward. I don't know if if he's watching, and I'll say hi, John. But he just texted me, so I assume he might be watching. But John White, no introduction needed, but legend in the sport, steward for years and years, has done every job in the sport. Because I wrote in our chat, I said, poor Clever again. How Pratt isn't DQ'd there, I have no idea. In my opinion, it is absolutely unequivocally an embarrassment on the part of the stewards that goal-oriented wasn't disqualified and placed last for causing interference to journalism and instigating a chain reaction that severely impeded Clever again. That's a quote from John White. So he believes if he would have been a steward at this race, he would have DQ'd Clever or goal-oriented. If he would have been on the job, but he wasn't. So, listen, he knows more than I do. Again, make no mistake, it was not going to impact a win, right? Clever again was not going to win, but certainly impeded his placing in the race, right? You can't sit here and say, well, Clever again wasn't going to finish third or finish fourth or whatever, right? It didn't look like he would have, but he could have. He certainly wasn't after that. And so that, to me, if you affect another horse's placing, that is why you deserve to be DQ'd. Yeah, he should have just gone wide. I don't know why he didn't. Yeah. Listen, not only did it, I'm sure he could give you about 6 other examples of when it happened. Off the cuff, by the way, as well, of when something similar happened and those horses all being DQ'd. So, listen, I've learned a long time ago not to argue with John. I don't know. It's like there's a fine line of like, where is the spot? You know what I mean? Like, at what point does the spot need to be deserved for journalists? Like he had a spot and then he got shut down, and he got a spot and it's shut down. So I mean, I understand like the race riding aspect from Pratt, but at some point, it just I don't know. It felt like it went too far. Can you explain why John? Because he about fell over. The horse, I'm sure, is all cut up. He got slant. He hit the rail. You can see that on the front end or on the. He hit the rail. The horse about fell over. At that point, Jose is just he's gonna wrap him up. I mean, just keep him safe and try to get him home. Right? That's really the last thing that matters is getting him home. So. Yeah, no, he knew, right? Like there's no like re-rally there at that point. So, and you see that kind of riding sometimes in turf racing a little bit. Yeah. Let me show it. Hey, by the way, this time I'll turn it off. I'll mute it. How about that? Look at me. I'll mute it this time. You're welcome. Let me pull it up here.
Hello, is anybody here?
Oh, wow. Welcome. I told him, I was like, I'm staying on as long as I can. I can only talk about this race for so long before I need Halterman here. So I stopped talking to myself. Well, I've said a lot.
Yeah.
What do you got? Because I'm out of words.
Yeah, look, I'll holy shit. That was an experience. That was an experience. I am in shock that he did it. I gave him zero chance to get there. Guys, what you saw today is something just fucking rare. Like that just doesn't happen. Now, does a horse maybe re-engage and get second and get beat a couple links and we're just screaming at the top of our lungs? Yeah. But that was just insane. And Rispoli, I don't know how you keep him on the horse after this, honestly, even though they won. Like, this was an all-time bad ride that he got away with, basically.
1,000. That's exactly what I said. I said, here's the thing. Pratt should have been DQ'd. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind. Now, it was created because of Rispoli, the 1,000%. Why, right here? Why not go wide?
I have no idea.
Circle the field. If you got the horse that clearly he had, just go around him.
Yeah.
Clever again about died.
Well, he got hit hard, but he was backing up. But look at that. Oh my God. Yeah.
And then here, like you said, it's like, well, he's gonna get second, maybe. But he's not gonna get there. And Gosker's like the guy in the front of the pack who, all the shit's happening behind him, and he's just like didn't even know what's happening.
Well, listen, I haven't had the luxury to watch this replay a whole lot. I did see the overhead, and Sandman is like a length ahead of Journalism before he finally gets going. So, geez, no excuse for Sandman. I mean, my goodness, he just passed him like he was standing still once he got going. Look, I think two things happen. I mean, Gosker, I think he's a good horse. I think he's bred to go long, but Gosker was dead ass tired. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Good thing he was trying to chase down that horse for sure.
Yes, it is a very good thing. And look, here's what happened. Gosker got a beautiful trip. He was outside and he avoided all the problems. They took Sandman wide. He avoided all the problems. Everybody else was all in that mess of horses, and only one of them was able to emerge and actually run well. But you're right. It's a good thing Gosker was the one that they had to run down, but that doesn't take away from the fact that, guys, here's the deal. I watch probably 200 horse races a week. That doesn't happen where momentum gets totally shut off like that very often.
Not halfway down the lane.
Oh, yeah. Like, look at that. Like, for that horse to come back and win, I'm not saying I've never seen it because I've seen it, but not very often does that happen. I mean,
certainly not in a grade 1.
Certainly not in a grade 1. I mean, it reminded me a lot of like the Fleet Alec situation. That was worse. Fleet Alec was worse, but that's what it reminded me of a bit. And yeah, it's just like, I was like, boy, oh boy, we're going to have a week of just ripping Rispoli because, oh boy, he's going to finish second, get beat by 3 lengths by Gosker. Really? You know what I mean? It's like this horse. So yeah, he's very lucky that he was able to bully his way through there. And look, I think all the problem happened because of Rispoli, but I don't think Rispoli initiated any of it. You know what I mean by that? He was just trying to get through.
It was like the situation was presented itself because of him.
Because of him, yes.
But, and here's the thing, I even said too, it's like the first time, sure, it's race riding. Pratt deserves to kind of be like, hey, no, you're not going to get, but it was the second one that like literally just turned the horse basically over. It felt like it was like, all right, that's too far, you know? Yeah. It looked, and I was, dude, you should have seen it. There was a bunch of people in here. I was like calling the race. I'd have to watch it back, but I'm pretty sure I went silent from the top of this because I was like, think about it, I'm watching. I'm like, I don't know what's. I legitimately thought 1 or 2 of those were going down.
Yeah,
like I thought they were going to fall over, and so I just stopped. It was like, that's the worst race call. What happened? What? I'm like, guys, wait till you see this. I couldn't even come up with words.
Samich was we couldn't call it, but Samich was kind of describing it, and the 2 things that stood out to me, he goes, he's going inside just like that. I'm like, oh shit, because like, and it's very, very, very hard to ride a horse, don't get me wrong, but it's like you could see that there wasn't room inside, and so you're like, oh my god, he's going inside. Oh, this is going to be bad.
Yeah.
And then it was like he starts to he gets past Salmon, and you're kind of like, oh, what a bad beat this is going to be. He's running again. And then there was a point where it's like, wait a second, where is that wire? Because he's starting to make up ground, but where is the wire? And because you don't watch a lot of horses run at Pimlico, you don't have a great feel for where it is, where if it was at Churchill or Saratoga or whatever, Belmont, when they run at Belmont, and I was just like, this wire, where is it? And how fast is it coming up? And thank God it didn't come up that fast. But
I mean,
those 2 moments I'll never forget. Just the light bulb of my head came on of like, wait a second, there is a chance here, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, look at this right there. This horse right here, guys, won. I mean, to be, I mean, listen, whatever you want to argue, what, you know, who started what and what, I mean, this horse is so athletic to do that. Remember, he got shut down a little bit, not like that at all, but in the San Diego Derby where he kind of had to stop and re-rally in the turn. But this is so totally different. And to do that, by the way, too, like at that point when he finally gets loose, you're sitting here thinking, I was the same thing. I was like, son of a bitch, like this whole thing, you know what I mean? Like, here goes Clever again. He's out of it. He's not going to get there. I'm out of everything. And then you're like, the moment you stop thinking that, you're like, oh shit, where is it? Come on, you know, it's getting closer. And
well, I'm sitting here. Yeah, I'm sitting here going, man, I've had a great day, and I'm alive in this double. I'm alive in the pick 4. Like, and he should have won, and it's still gonna be an okay day, but it could have been so much better. And he was much the best, and he's gonna lose by a neck or whatever. I really thought when they were getting closer, I thought, he's gonna lose by like a half, you know, something like that. Because again, I just didn't know quite where it was, and I was just like, man, oh man, oh man, I'm gonna roast this little guy for a week over this, because this was, listen, and I don't roast jockeys very often, but this was a situation where if he loses that race, it was squarely on Rispoli's shoulders, right?
1,000%.
I don't subscribe to like he moved his hand just a little to the left at the 8th pole and it cost him. I don't subscribe and shit like that. But when something like this happens, it's like, no, that is egregious. Right. And I think sometimes you go up the rail or you go inside and you find a path and it works out and you're the hero. But a lot of times what happens today happened. And look, Rispoli did this on, was it Oaks Day? It was Kentucky Oaks Day with Silver Bullet, AG Bullet, whatever you want to call him. He got that horse beat that day too, trying to go up the rail in that 5 furlong turf race.
Oh, I remember. Yes.
Yeah. The one that Queen Maxima was on the outside and just one drawing off, and the 4 AG Bullet totally gets shut off and gets beat. And that's what this reminded me of. That race came to my head of like, oh shit, he did it again. Right here, it's like, oh my God, he's going to fall, Yeah. Yeah. And anyway, it was just, and we talked about in the Derby, it's like, I'm a little worried about him, and I thought he rode a great Derby. And here it's just like, oh man, what a
McCarthy is. It's like he saw a train wreck, but the train wreck came out the other side of it, but he's still probably wondering, is my horse okay? I'd say all 3 of those horses, Goal Oriented, that horse, and Clever Again, certainly are going to be very banged up after that one. Someone asked why he shut off on Clever Again. It's like, dude, that horse about fell over. He had no choice but to just stop.
He wasn't going to win, but all of his chance to 3rd or 4th or whatever it was gone when that.
And that's why I think whether you want to go on the fence or on the side of saying it's journalism and Rispoli or Goal Oriented and whatever, and maybe that's why they didn't make the change. But whichever side you subscribe to, it's 1,000%, and no one can deny that Clever Again's chances of placing were hurt by that happening.
Oh yeah.
His chances of where he finished in the race, even if it means a check, right? 4th place or whatever, a check. It was hurt by that happening. And so someone, by the rules, someone should have been punished for it, right? And it wasn't. So so maybe that's why they didn't, because they're like, I don't know who would we put it on?
Well, I think it has to be on Goal Oriented, because you can't give up your spot, but you also can't lean into the horses like that. So Goal Oriented basically pushed Rispoli and journalism into Clever Again. Now again, Clever Again, maybe he was going to get 4th or 5th. I mean, he wasn't going to factor into this, but still, that is clear interference.
Well, hey, and by the way, the deserving horse won. Let's put it very clear about that. He won, and he should have won. That's the thing, and thank goodness he did, because he deserved to win. He was links the best of this race.
Watching that head on, it's Goal Oriented that should have been taken down. Does journalism goes into a small opening there, but it was an opening, and journalism gets pushed right in to Clever Again.
Like I said from the start, was it created by journalism and Rispoli? Absolutely, but he did have a spot for.
But look at this angle. He has a spot. I mean,
there was
all he had to do was just go to the outside and nothing would have happened. But he didn't bump anybody. There
was one view where it looked like he was throwing shoulders. One of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So one thing I want to just, obviously, regardless of the placing of Clever Again, he was never winning. I want to start with that because, or at least I'm disappointed. You watched the break here, Alterman, and I was mentioning this on the live. It's like you could tell Jose was expecting Pratt to go, right? Look at him. He looks over 6 times.
Yeah.
You're not going? Wait, you're not going? You're still that okay, I'm gonna take it, And then from there it was like, all right, I'll take out. What he probably hoped and wished is that he got the Gosker trip and kind of could sit up, basically the 8 being the 9 and the 8 being the 1. Didn't happen, but at the same time, I wasn't exactly upset with it because he had a pretty on his own lead. Now they were moving pretty quick. Gosker certainly didn't give him any kind of break, but I wasn't necessarily. What do you make of Clever Again? Because I certainly expect him to run better than that.
I told you during the week, I said, I think we're going to come out of this and we're going to say one horse is overrated and one horse is pretty good. And I think coming out of this, one horse is pretty good and one horse is overrated. I just don't, look, he didn't run very well. I don't think there's any way around it. I do think, look, if you would have told me, hey, he's 3 lengths clear of the 1 and the 3, I would have been like, yeah, he's in a pretty good spot. Now he does get pressured by Gosker, but look, dude, Gosker almost won the race. So I don't think the pace collapsed.
No.
I don't think he ran very well.
I'd say him and I mean, I didn't really like American Promise much, but him and River Thames certainly ran poorly as well. You know, I didn't expect. Again, we thought it'd be a little short or a little long for him, but he never even. You can see in there the 6 there on the outside. He was never really going to get there, make it close. So
no. And then, like I said, I think that bump there on Clever Again, that was it. Like, again, I don't think he was like backing up hardcore like he did. You know, I think he could have been maybe sitting right there with goal oriented. You know, but still, he didn't run very well. Like if he was the 9, that's what I expected him to do. Yeah. Oscar ran how I thought Clever Again would run.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything.
It was again, I'm thrilled that the chart's still not out for the race. They're probably still trying to figure out what the hell happened in the stretch like the rest of us. Yeah. It all worked out well, though. I mean, again, I was mentioning it on the opening. Obviously, Clever Again would have been big paydays for me and you, but I was very thrilled that if you could have drew it up any better as far as getting to the race, it's how we did it. And it's like, hey, listen, if I would hate that, and that was the whole reason. Like, I didn't want to get to this race and all be on Clever Again. Yeah, sure, I liked him, but I also totally respected journalism, and I wanted to make sure I had a piece of it. And to have a pick 3, have a double, all that live at multiple times into that with journalism, even though Clever Again didn't win and I'd missed my $20 exacta or whatever it was. I haven't done what I hit, but I hit multiple times the exact, or multiple times the double, multiple times the pick 3. And I'm very happy with the way we structured the bets, I guess is a long way of saying that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the doubles were good for both of us. I had the win wager on journalism. That was good as well. Yeah, it was a good day for sure. Yeah, look, I think, we talked about this on Blinkers Off. I think you played it right. You had one exacta with the horse you thought was going to win, with the horse that you liked for second, and you had a thought that Clever Again might be better than journalism. But then the way you played it with playing those doubles and those pick 3s into both of them, I think, made a lot of sense, and you're able to cover yourself. So, yeah, I think that pick 3, probably you got about $80 back on it or something like that. I haven't done the math either. So, yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, look, I think you knew going in with Clever Again, it was kind of not all or nothing, but it was kind of going to be, he's going to turn for home and he's going to go, or he's kind of going to run in place. And that's kind of what happened. I wouldn't close the door on him. I wouldn't close the door on River Thames. I don't think either one of those horses, Clever Again is going to get experience and get better. River Thames cutting back. I think he's going to be fine. Slam the door shut on Sandman. I would say that for sure. Could not make up ground on Gosker. Had journalism passed, it got passed in a second once journalism got his feet under him. Sandman's not very good. And that's just kind of how I see it. Like I think this horse journalism is just, he showed he's pretty damn good. Like that was unreal.
What do you do? What's your opinion of Gosker? Because he certainly ran an improved race there than he had been.
It's hard to say in the heat of the moment. I need to go back and watch him again. But look, he sat there. He tracked the leader. He put that leader away. He probably was, running pretty slow there at the end. I don't think you're going to catch a horse that's still running pretty strongly, but he outran his odds big time. I thought he ran great. I thought Gosker ran a great race. And gosh, I mean, they had Luis Saez had to be thinking, man, we're going to steal this thing with a 19-1 shot. He didn't have any of the trouble, so hanging out wide was good for him on this day. Look, we thought he might improve stretching out in distance, and he did. I think he ran a really good race, but just not good enough. But again, it kind of, anytime this happens, it's a little bit of that horse in front probably gave it to him a little bit as much as journalism took it.
I made the joke earlier. It was like, before you got on, it was like, it's kind of like in a NASCAR race when, the one person in the front, and then the whole crew, everyone behind him, the big pile up, everybody, and the guy in front just keeps going. He has no idea that there's a big pile up behind him. So, I mean, Gosker just ran his race. Saez just ran his race. Honestly, I thought there for a while, I was like, man, Saez this is pretty smart. I kind of thought he was sacrificing his horse a little bit by putting that pressure on Clever again. But I was like, hey, he's putting he's doing what no one else is doing. And then he kept coming, it kept going. And so it was a hell performance by Gosker. But yeah, journalism. Listen, I'll say this and I'll end it with this. Regardless of what you think, as far as what your opinion you're on, if he should be taken down or if it was his fault or whatever, like you said when you hopped on, you don't see that often. You don't see a horse stop, damn near fall over, re-rally, all of it within the stretch run, and chase down the horse. And regardless if Gosker was slowing down or whatever, and mind you, this is all off 2 weeks, right? That there was every reason, every ounce where you've been like, damn, journalism probably could have won, but he got so much issues, and then his jockey, and he was 2 weeks off, all excuses, and to finish the job, it was pretty damn special, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely, it was super special, and I think to be clear, I don't really. Rispoli gave a idiotic ride, stupid ride, but I don't really think he caused the trouble. So it's two different things. Yeah, he shouldn't have been in there. Stupid, but he didn't. He bumped someone because he got bumped hard, and then he bumped into another horse. That's not Rispoli, and that's not journalism. That's Pratt and goal-oriented, right? That's the one that quote unquote broke the rules. Rispoli was just an idiot for being around there. That's where I'm at with it. I mean, Rispoli put the best horse by 5 lengths in the absolute worst spot possible. He still won.
I would love to be.
It's one of the dumbest rides I've ever seen in my life.
I would love to be, whether it been right after or later tonight or wherever it is, when Matt McCarthy gets a little chat with Rispoli. What the fuck were you thinking? I can train this horse so much, but you about killed him.
When I got in a private area, I'd take him by the throat and lift him up on the wall.
Let's put Pratt on him now, okay? So, all right. Well, again, we'll have a lot of analysts. Halterman will have a chance to really digest and review this race and have analysis of it.
Exactly. I love that.
I know you joked about it, but do you really think Rispoli will be off him if he runs in the Belmont?
Okay, I'm going to say 2 things. Number one, I've watched this race twice. I've been on the air. I'll have a full breakdown, a full video of it once I digest it. Number 2, yes, if he was mine, you're out. Yeah. Because Jared, they have so many more big races to go.
Oh, this is 9-horse field.
If Sovereignty was in this race today, he would have crushed him. He won the race because he's brave, courageous, all this shit, and he also won the race because of who else he had to beat.
Correct. All things correct. Yes.
Say he goes to the Belmont. He's not going to win with that trip. I would get somebody else.
I mean, and even if this happens in the Derby, then you're like, yeah, that's kind of sometimes can happen in the Derby, bad trips or made a bad choice, and then you got whatever. But come on, it's a 9-horse, 8 other horses Preakness field.
Yep.
There's no excuse.
Yep.
And you got, if you're lucky the horse was what he was today, or else you'd have been singing a different tune here at the end of this race. Yep. Can you imagine what that would have looked like when him trotting back? Oh man.
I mean, he should have lost.
I'm trying to find good pictures. I'm sure some more will come. I'm sure there's a really good picture somewhere where this horse is listen, that was like a Fleet Alex-ish.
Oh,
almost going down to his knees and then finishing off the job. So,
and I think the debate that's going on in the chat is like, did Rispoli make first contact or did Pratt? And if it was Rispoli that pushed into Pratt and then Pratt pushed back, then you got an argument. And again, I haven't seen it enough, but from what I've seen it a couple times, it looked to me like Pratt caused all of it. But
it felt like he crowding, hurting the horse, whatever you want to call it, over. Yeah. That's what I mean.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
And then the horse decided to go get him,
So because of and listen, I'm just speaking from a PR standpoint. And hey, by the way, I read it earlier before you hopped on here, what John said in the chat. I mean, he's a steward. I mean, he was.
What did he say? I haven't seen it yet.
He said, I'll read it to you. He said, unequivocally, in my opinion, it is unequivocally an embarrassment on the part of the stewards that goal-oriented wasn't disqualified and placed last for causing interference to journalism and instigating a chain reaction that severely impeded Clever again.
That's how I've seen it so far. Yep.
So, I mean, and that's what I read that, and it's like, listen, he knows more than I do. So, and he did it for a living. So, I don't know. That's how I would see it. Thanks, John.
Yeah.
But to that point, maybe because of the debate in the chat, and obviously I imagine that's debate happening across the country.
Oh, yeah,
is they are like, you know what, we'll just leave this one.
Yeah,
if we take him down, then it's a whole thing, and
I saw one comment was like, I'm surprised the stewards didn't look at it longer, and I agreed with that.
I agree with that too. I mentioned that because she was on the horse still interviewing Rispoli, and she's like, no change. And I was like, oh shit, that was quick.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like we were talking, and I was like, this may last 20 minutes. Like, we may not get the official results till like 6:30, right? And then like all of a sudden it's like, nope, it's official. It's like, that's very weird.
Yeah, so Clever again was last. I mean, he pulled up. American Promise, Pay Billy, Routine, Heart of Honor. Heart of Honor would have been placed fourth. How about that? That would have been that'd have been interesting. Let's see what the exactive 2.9. I mean, honestly, pretty cheap exactive for Gosker finishing second. 1690. I mean, he was like 18-1. No, 15-1. I guess he went off at.
Even money, he was 19-1 when he went in the gate. That's crazy.
I know, right?
Yeah.
He was. Let's see. Heart of Honor went off the highest odds. Pay Billy. Yeah, got Clever again. Went off the second choice. Yeah, look. I mean, he's first the whole way around. Then bam. So there's a look at the. Sandman did his thing. He was last. Like, he's just a little clunker. He just clunks up there.
Yeah,
that race was so set up for him, and that Arkansas Derby was a setup of all setups.
Well, think about the race today. Okay, you got Gosker, you got to run down. Now, again, credit him. He was running hard. It was you had to go get him. All the shit that was happening inside of him, he had no problems. He's right out there. He's past the horse that everybody thinks we got to beat. He's supposed to be a closer that's running fast down the stretch. He sucks. I'm telling you, he's not very good.
No.
Because
you mean the horse that, like, he had every right to be at least be ahead of journalism there, and like no issues whatsoever. The dream trip that you would ask for from journalism, considering what he went through. Journalism stops, falls down, basically rolls over, gets up, still chases down Sandman.
Not only does he like he finishes ahead of Sandman, like. He just murdered him. Like, he looked back and he's like, he's 5 lengths behind him. Like, I don't know. Maybe he sucks is a strong statement. He sucked today. Like, today, that was your chance. I mean, he had a great chance. Maybe he doesn't win, but to get close,
I thought goal oriented. I mean, he was never winning, obviously, but he wasn't exactly quitting when the contact occurred. So I mean, he ran okay considering, although, probably should have been DQ'd, but that's no other thing. But, really, when you look at the chart, River Thames kind of got the trip. He got a little keen there. I don't know if you saw that midway through the backstretch. he got pretty keen. You can see there on the chart. He was third. Kind of, I don't know if Irad couldn't control him or what, but he got real close and then kind of backed off, and then of course backed off more. Yeah, I think the two big takeaways of the race, other than what we saw on the stretch, was those, Clever again, of course, and River Thames. I liked both of those, obviously. To say neither one of them hit the board would have been somewhat surprising to me. So
I like this goal-oriented sweep the leg. All the crappy can people. Curtis Calward from FanDuel TV sent me this stat. He said, how insane is this? Bob Baffert 3-year-olds in grade 1 dirt routes this year, 6 starts, 0 in the money finishes.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, Bob Baffert's behaving now.
So. How about that? Yep. Man. There you go.
I mean, do you think if Rispoli would have just when they were in the turn would have just done the wide trip basically instead of doing what he did? I mean, don't you think he probably wins wrapped up by 2 or 3? Just kind of.
I would say, I was going to say 2 or 3. Yep. That's what I was going to say. You go wide, you're going to lose a little momentum. You're not going to almost fall. So, you have to stop. So you just go wide and none of that happens inside. And I think you win by a couple. And, that's not any disrespect to Gosker, but again, we just kind of know that he was slowing down a little bit and journalism wasn't. So, or wouldn't have been. The momentum wouldn't have stopped. So, just a stupid ride. Stupid ride.
And I certainly don't know how to ride. I mean, I wouldn't want to do what they do for sure. So it's easy to critique. But also it's like, come on. I mean, what I think started, and it really is not his fault, obviously, but Clever again stopping created the whole. I mean, not that it's again his fault, but I think journalism and Rispoli started to follow him, thinking, well, he's going, we're gonna.
I agree,
and he had the mind, like you got to be able, like it's almost like it's already in his head, right? Like, well, I'm gonna follow him, and then I'm gonna kick out. So he just ran right up the asses of those horses because Clever again was stopping, and he's like, all right, I'm just getting. Then he's like, oh shit, I better go between this one, and it's like it was so single-minded thought of just being like, oh, I'm just gonna go right up, just follow Clever again instead of being like, look, he's stopping. So, anyways, Shoddy, you had Gosker in your try. Very good.
I remember you from the chat. I don't know how to say your name, but he or she was talking about Gosker in Blinkers Off. So congratulations. So
listen,
I mean, we talked about, hey, he shouldn't be that price. But
for real,
yeah.
No action on the board whatsoever the whole time. He's dead on the board.
Yep.
I debated. I was back and forth on who to put in fourth. He was on my list at one point. He was on my top 4 at one point. So I totally expect him to run
Link.
Okay. Link. There you go. Link. That's how you pronounce it. Link. You got that?
Link. I like that name.
Link.
Man, that's a cool name.
But for him to run that well is insane. But hey, congrats to everybody who had a little action today on the betting Bible. Hopefully, everyone that followed along. Let me see if I can pull up the betting Bible just real quick, and then we'll hop off here. Pretty successful yet again. That's 2 in a row, Osborne. I don't know what we're doing, but it's working. It was cold at first. Haltern had a really nice win bet on Booth. I had the exacta there. Didn't pay a ton, but it paid decent. That's kind of got going. Past that, we were struggle busting it a little bit there midway through the card. Couldn't get much going. Didn't have, this one was kind of disappointing. It was very disappointing. And then Crudo got the momentum going for me. Crudo got the momentum going in the Sir Barton. You got going. I hit the win on Crudo, which was a nice price. Played the pick 3, got that one home. You had the double. You had, played the double here into journalism, got that one home. Obviously, didn't hit that. You had a nice win bet on journalism, doubled your money there at $30. So all in all, I mean, whether you played mine or Halterman's or played a little bit of both, you should have made money yet again. And again, I hope people saw how we structure the tickets, how I structure the tickets, and use that. And I certainly am going to use it moving forward, because the mindset of like, hey, I like Clever again, and I'm going to have him beat Journalism, and then just leaving it at that is very dicey, right? Because it's like, do I really want to not have any action on Journalism whatsoever? Like, that seems kind of dumb. But at the same time, you can't exactly play like an exacta box there, because it's a Preakness. Like, the payouts aren't going to be great.
Yep.
You got to lean in on it a little bit. So I kind of went backwards a little bit from the race and said, okay, how do I get to this race with Journalism Live? And that's kind of where we came, got to that. So there's people are so dead set in the sport of being right and wrong, but there's still ways you can make money in races, even when you weren't your opinion wasn't exactly dead on. So
yeah,
hopefully people use that, even if you didn't play my tickets, but you can move it on your own moving forward. Who's the better horse? Who are we asking about? Shoddy, you had him? Yeah, the subscriber. Yeah, next up, before the Belmont, we got the subscriber race. So if you haven't already, go to subscribe over racingdudes.com. And if you do, we're going to have a subscriber race yet again. We gave out $1,000 on Kentucky Derby Day. We're going to do it again on June 1st. Really, all we do is we draw 20 people from our subscriber list. If you are a current premium subscriber, you could get in that, and top 20 run in a virtual race. Someone wins $1,000. So it's as easy as that.
Yep. It will be a lot of fun. It was last time we did it. It was a lot of fun as well. So yeah, can't wait for that. Yeah, good Bible again. 2 good ones in a row. Good to see that as well. And good for everybody that bought picks and stuff. Had a good day, hopefully. So yeah, all good. I got to ask you a question though before we leave.
Okay.
Who is the best 3-year-old in the country right now?
Sovereignty.
Okay, that was quick. All right.
Well, he beat him. So
right.
Do I think I gotta go Sovereignty? He won the Derby, so I think it's very close between those two. Hopefully, if it's not the Belmont, hopefully we see him match up in the Travers. Do you think he's gonna? I mean, I know they want to run in the Belmont, but do you think after a tough, running the Derby is always tough, but 2 weeks off, having that trip in the Preakness, I mean, do you think they're gonna? You think he's actually gonna run?
I don't. And I don't blame him. That had to take a lot out of him. But look, he was able to re-rally and win, so maybe he's okay physically, obviously. But yeah, I don't think they'll run him back. Yeah, I think my goodness, I think if you had to, like, if it's today and we have to rank them and give out the award, I agree. I think it's Sovereignty. I think Journalism is the best horse, though.
Okay, I think there's two different. Yeah, I think there's two different things there. I think the best horse between the two is Journalism.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was giving out the award,
yes,
I would go Sovereignty right now.
Agreed.
Because the Derby has more weight, and
Mm-hmm. So,
but hey, there's a good reason why we have a second half of the season, and we have races like the Travers and the Belmont and all those races after this.
So I want to read this real quick, because we both commented on this on the backside. Christopher Maiello says, Rispoli gave an interview and said he wasn't traveling as good on the backstretch, so I'd be shocked if he runs back in 3 weeks. He pumped, go back and watch it. He was getting with it pretty hard, and that horse was not responding all that well at first. He did end up, before he got stopped, he was running hard. It took him a while to get going today.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
Well, shit, in the far turn, he was still in 6th.
Yep.
And had that whole group to go, and then maybe and maybe to Rispoli's credit or whatever, defense, maybe the better word, maybe he felt like I need to cut every corner I can because he's not, he's tired, right, or whatever. And again, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that's an excuse, but maybe that's why he tried that versus trying to go wide.
Yep.
Just a thought. That's all. But
And Christopher, you're spot on. You watch this thing, and I'll have to go watch it again, but I didn't think he was going to fire for about 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's going like this, and that horse is not moving a muscle.
He looked, and then like you said, then he finally started to pick off horses, and I don't know if it's a matter of just him exuding his class at that point and just being like, I am just better than you guys, or the thing fell apart a little bit and it looks a little bit visually better than it was. Certainly, like you said, though, if Sovereignty's in the race, he's probably not winning that one. So
Yep.
But we don't know how Sovereignty would have been in that race either. So there's that too. So.
I got to listen to this Comas call. I've had a couple people tell me this Larry Comas call is really good. So yeah, he said the Comas mentioned the fact that he was pumping and not going, and I got to tell you, I never thought he was winning that race at any point until he did, because I thought up the backside, shit, he's not gonna do it. And then when he was running, it was like, okay, he's making up ground. Now the idiot's inside. Oh no, now he got taken out, and all the stuff was like, oh, this is a disaster. He still won somehow.
I'll have to watch it back too. Dude, I had early when I was showing the replay for a good 10-15 minutes on the screen, I was showing it forever and no sound right on my end. And then finally someone was like, I think it was Jared, and he was like, could you turn it down a little bit? And I was like, what? It's on? I had it on, like on the video itself, it was on, but my computer was off. And so it was blaring the whole time. I was like, someone could have said something before right now. But yeah, so I'll watch the call. I've not heard the call either, other than very, very quietly. But yeah, I mean, he, even on the backstretch there, he's actually losing ground a little bit. But he's like really getting after him.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And there's a spot right here where, let me pull this up now. Might as well. I want to show the replay 1,600 times. So
it's
certainly one of those races we'll be talking about for a few weeks.
I kind of, not that I thought it would be boring. That's not the right word, but I kind of thought we wouldn't still be talking about it right now. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of thought it'd be like, okay, he won and it's over, or okay, he got beat, but I didn't think we'd have that sort of excitement.
Yeah, well, no, Preakness is very rarely that exciting in terms of like stretch runs and those kind of things. But so watch, there's an aerial view they show, and it feels like it would have been the right time. This is the first turn. So you can see him. He's really kind of getting after him still right here, John Journalism.
Mm-hmm.
But right here, watch this aerial view. If he had the horse, maybe, I'm just like, it's just go, instead of going here up the asses of these horses, go here.
Mm-hmm.
Just track River Thames. He had a decision right here. He had an ass, and you go one side of it. Maybe he felt like, hey, my horse is not going. I need to cut as much ground as I can. You know what I'm saying?
I think you're right. I think, because then it's almost like, oh shit, he's not gonna be able to do it going wide. Got to get to the inside.
Yeah, for real. Because even a little bit further on the road, like he could have still had made that call to go wide.
So Samich made the call. He's like, okay, he's getting pumped. He's not going. He's switching to the outside and he's starting to make up some ground. And then, wait, what are you doing? He went inside. Why did you do that? That was. I was like, yeah.
Well, and then at this point, you're committed.
Hey, at this point, I give him zero chance. And then he moves. Look at this, though. Then he starts to move.
Yeah, I don't know. And it's weird to be out inside of horses like that and then start to make up your move, make up your ground.
Did he just is he tired, but he got competitive? I don't know.
Jeez, he's probably trying to get the hell out of there.
Maybe that. Yeah.
Good Lord. What a trip, man. Just it's gonna take some time to digest that one.
I know.
And then runs this guy down like, yeah, Sandman was like, fuck this.
Sandman. I mean, I don't know. I guess he was making up ground on Gosker. I'll take that back. But he was just getting dusted by journalism.
Oh, and yeah, and Jennifer, to your point, maybe it was a panic reaction. Maybe it wasn't the right reaction. Like, meaning, like, maybe he wasn't tired, or maybe he thought, oh shit, maybe he is, you know what I mean? Like, so it's probably not fair us to sit here and say, well, he was tired, and that's why he had to make the decision. Maybe it was, he thought he was, so. Yeah. Clever again's like, dude, I'm just trying to run. Like, just get me, beat the shit out of me over here.
I definitely think it's fair to say it was a panicked situation, and because I think it's why I think it's fair, if I could speak correctly, is because of what you just showed. He was getting him towards the outside, and then he just shot to the inside.
Yeah.
So. Crazy.
Well, you're going to have your work cut out for you, buddy, because that analysis is going to be, I'm going to have to tune in for that when you go through that. But again, hopefully, fingers crossed. It's one of those things too, for me, dude. It's like, I hope obviously it'd be fun to have him at the race, but part of me is like, oh man, I hope he takes a little break after that one. Journalism, that is, like he deserves it.
Yeah. I was thinking about that. As I was getting on the show, I was thinking, I wasn't worried at all that the 2-week turnaround, but I'm thinking now, I'm like, damn, if he runs in the Belmont, I'm legit going to be worried that he's a tired horse. Yeah.
Yeah, it's certainly like, let's just pretend that he does run, or he is running. That's the plan. He will be there in the Derby or at the Belmont. You're going to be like wondering, I don't know, should I bet him, because is he going to be tired?
Without knowing anything about the field, anything about like who's running, whatever, on the surface, just as a general statement, how do you make a case that he can turn the tables on Sovereignty after he just ran that race where he got all that trouble, had to really work for it? Sovereignty's rested, ready to go. Like, I don't know how he turns the tables.
Whew. All right. Well, it stayed on longer than I planned for, but man, this does not expect this to be. I kind of thought this would be case closed one way or another. So, yeah, we'll find out. This is gonna be fun if we have a river. Hey, one way or another, maybe they'll save them and say, you know what, we'll point to the Travers, and we'll get to see that rematch there. Maybe it'll be at the Breeders' Cup Classic. Who knows? But certainly the top 2 horses in the division, the first 2 winners of the first 2 legs of the Triple Crown this year. That's Sovereignty and Journalism. So hey, you know what? The Triple Crown has lived up to it. Peter, we didn't get him home, but you did all right for the day. He had a $48,000 pick 5 earlier, Peter.
Oh wow! Dang.
I said, who are you betting here? Because I'm just going to back you, and he liked Clever, but you know what? When you have 48,000, you're not too upset. So, Barca, not close. I think she's talking about the 3rd place horse of the Derby. So, Bieza. Bieza, we're talking about.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. I'm gonna guess that's Bieza, but it starts with a B. It's about all. It starts with a B and ends with A. That's
Barca.
But yeah, Bieza is very dangerous and certainly a horse that's improving each start as well. So it's supposed to be at the Belmont too. So we'll find out. So
yeah.
All right, Alterman, let you and I take a break here. We've been live for a while, but
definitely.
Again, tune in to the website racingdudes.com. We'll have all kind of analysis and coverage. And after time, Blinkers Off will be on this same platform here will be live next week, as we'll really have a chance to digest this thing and talk about what we saw. So Halterman, go enjoy some rest. I'm going to do the same. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Appreciate you guys being here with me and listening to me talk to myself and making an amazing I'm 2 for 2, Shotty. 2 for 2 on amazing race calls. So I might have a lot of respect for Larry Kalmus because listen, to have that happen, you kind of don't think. I mean, obviously he's an expert pro, but like you just your mind, you know what I mean? It's like you stop. You're not thinking, and you're just like, oh shit, I'm like watching a train wreck where he has to keep calling the race, like, oh, the horse he gets hit and he's going down or whatever, and it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of talent and time, I'm sure, to do that. So I'm not going to be changing careers anytime soon.
Yeah. Listen, that's a skill, right? That's a tough thing to do. So don't be too hard on yourself. I think I'll
call the racing dudes derbies and those things. That's fine. They all stay in a straight line. So.
I mean, I'm not going to listen to it back. I'm going to be honest with you. I'll probably listen to Kalmus over you, but still, don't sell yourself short.
I'm gonna put a video together. I'll mute the actual race and I'll dub my voice over it and see how bad it is.
It's probably going to be bad.
You have all these idiots on here who apparently have no way of watching NBC of all things. and they're like, "That's the worst call ever. Who won? Who won?" And I'm like, guys, I'm not. This is like, I'm not doing this to call the race for you. It's
No.
it's amazing. It's like, shut up. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Halterman. Hope everyone cashed in the Preakness, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Blinkers Off. Join our horse racing community at racingdudes.com and follow us on Twitter at racing_dudes. Want to make money betting horses? Bet with the Racing Dudes.